In this video we will cover a list of 19 tracks that were supposed to be on the All Eyez on Me album but didn't make it on the final release. And this is a re-upload of the video that was also uploaded a few months ago, but because it contains some audio clips of music, the video unfortunately did not comply with the YouTube policy, so therefore I had to delete music clips, but you can easily find all the full tracks that are discussed in this video on YouTube if you search for it. And this video will provide you with some interesting background information on the leftover tracks that were recorded for the All Eyez on Me album. And in an interview with Suge Knight, he said that he was the one that came up with the title All Eyez on Me. And initially Tupac had the title Euthanasia in mind for the album, and he also made several tracklist drafts for it. Besides Euthanasia, there were also a few other album titles that he had in mind for the project, as can be seen on drafts written down in various notebooks. So eventually Euthanasia was the main concept for the album, and that has evolved into All Eyez on Me, and in this video we'll do a breakdown of 19 tracks that did not make it on the final release but were recorded during the All Eyez on Me studio sessions. And there's some overlap between tracks that were mentioned on both the Euthanasia and also on the All Eyez on Me handwritten drafts. And in the breakdown video, Euthanasia and All Eyez on Me Leftovers Part 2 that you can find on the channel as well, I will cover other tracks that were mentioned on the Euthanasia handwritten drafts that are not covered in this video. So make sure to check it out if you want to know more about that. And if you like these type of videos, let's be friends! And show some support and make sure to give it up for Pac and drop a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. A lot more interesting videos are coming soon, so don't forget to click on the notification bell if you want to stay up to date on all the latest videos. Also drop a comment if you have any suggestions for videos you would like to see on this channel. And now let's dive straight into the topic of this video. All Eyez on Me is the 4th studio album by Tupac and the last to be released during his lifetime. This album was released on February the 30th in 1996 by Death Row and Interscope Records. It was the second album by Tupac to chart at number 1 on both the Billboard 200 and the top R&B hip-hop album charts, selling 566,000 copies in the first week. It made history as the first ever double full-length hip-hop solo studio album released globally. The album includes well-known tracks such as How Do You Want It, California Love, and two of America's Most Wanted featuring Snoop Dogg. All Eyez on Me has been ranked by critics as one of the greatest hip-hop albums as well as one of the greatest albums of all time. And Till I See LA is the first track on our list that we will cover in this video. And various theories are going around about it. The title was mentioned on several handwritten drafts that Pac made for All Eyez on Me, and also on drafts when he had the title Euthanasia in mind for the album, and also on some other drafts he created. Till I See LA is also mentioned on the handwritten drafts with the album title Life Goes On, which was another album title that he had in mind in an earlier stage. And these handwritten tracklist drafts show that Dr. Dre is the producer and several other artists would be featured on it. Some drafts show that Dr. Dre, The Lady of Rage, and Corrupt were supposed to be featured on the record. Other drafts show that Ice Cube, Coolio, and Dr. Dre would appear on it. There are also drafts that indicate that Snoop Dogg and Corrupt would be featured on the record. Another draft indicates that besides Snoop and Corrupt, fellow Dogg Pound member Nate Dogg also would make an appearance on the track, and there's also another draft showing that Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre would be on the record with Pac. And there's also another draft that states that Snoop and Ice Cube would be featured on the record. There's also another draft that says that Snoop and Coolio would be featured on it, and there's another draft where Dr. Dre, Snoop, and Nate Dogg are listed as the featured artists. And there's also another draft on which Ice Cube and Coolio are mentioned as the featured artist. Most likely Till I See LA evolved into the track that we all know, and that's To Live and Die in LA. Castro from the Outlaws mentioned this in an interview a couple of years ago. And another theory is that Till I See LA was sold and became Down by the Bay, which was an MC Hammer track that was produced by Johnny J. A misconception that I want to clear up is that before Pac signed to Death Row Records, he recorded a track in '93 with MC Breed and Coolio. The story goes that the producer had asked for more money because Pac had jumped on the track, and he supposedly was broke at the time because of all the legal stuff he was facing, and Pac didn't want to pay up, so therefore he wanted them to erase the reel. But this had nothing to do with the track Till I See LA, as some theories suggest. If you have more information or theories about Till I See LA, make sure to drop a comment below. The second track that we're going to cover in this video is Sequence of War, featuring the Outlaws Fatal and Gaddafi, who also recorded several tracks under the name Fatal and Felony. Sequence of War was recorded in '96 at the Can-Am Studios in California. The beat was produced by Johnny J, and a sample was used from Brothers Gonna Work It Out, which is a song by Willie Hutch. Another version of this track has also been made, and that's known as the Rules version, and also Corrupt from the Dogg Pound is featured on that version. The beat is similar, but the Rules version contains completely different lyrics by Tupac and the Outlaws. There are several tracklist drafts made by Tupac on which Secrets of War was included as a track for the All Eyez on Me album, and some drafts have the version with only the Outlaws on it. And on other drafts you can find the Rules version featuring Corrupt, and both versions are straight fire and you can find them online in high quality. And that brings us to the third track on our list, which is Blunt Time, and this one is still unreleased and unleaked. Dr. Dre produced the beat and the Lady of Rage is also featured on it. Some drafts shows that Method Man from the Wu-Tang Clan is also featured on this record, and a few years ago the Lady of Rage posted an image on social media of a Tupac tape with the title Blunt Time written on it, and many fans are curious about the song, and who knows, we might get to hear it sometime in the future. The fourth track on our list is the Come With Me interlude featuring Danny Boy, and this interlude was recorded on October the 15th in 1995, and the beat was produced by Johnny J, and it's mentioned on several drafts for All Eyez on Me and Euthanasia, and the beat is smooth and laid back. Pac doesn't rap on it, but he does some talking over the instrumental. The fifth track on our list that was recorded during the All Eyez on Me sessions is When I Get Free, and it was recorded on October the 14th in 1995 at the Can-Am Studios, and the beat was produced by Johnny J, who was Pac's main producer at the time. There are several versions of the song that you can find online, and one of them is the When I Get Free original Death Row version, and there's also a Johnny J remix with a different beat. And When I Get Free was mentioned on several early tracklist drafts made by Tupac, and in case you didn't know, on the Are You Still Down album there's another version of When I Get Free also included, and this is a sequel to Soulja Story, which was a track on the Tupacalypse album. On this version, Tupac's character Soulja returns to describe his life in prison and outline his plans upon his escape. And this track would be followed by another sequel titled Soulja Like Me, Revenge of the Soulja, where Soulja murdered several police officers after his release from prison. And that brings us to the sixth track on our list, which is the original version of Still I Rise, featuring Big Syke and Fatal and Gaddafi from the Outlaws under the name Fatal and Felony. This track was recorded on October the 19th in 1995 at the Can-Am Studios in California. The beat was produced by Johnny J, and a sample was used from the song Tenderness by Walter Beasley. Still I Rise was mentioned on several early handwritten tracklist drafts for All Eyez on Me, and another version of Still I Rise was also later released on the collaboration album with the same title by Pac and the Outlaws in December of 1999. The seventh track we're going to cover in this video is Outlaw Immortal, featuring Big Syke, Gaddafi, Fatal and Idi Amin from the Outlaws. The beat was produced by Sam Snead, and it's a very dope track, and it was also included on a couple of early tracklist drafts for All Eyez on Me, but unfortunately it was not released on the official All Eyez on Me album. This track is straight fire and you can find it in good quality online, and there are also some different mixdowns and remixes that you can find online as well, so make sure to check it out if you haven't heard this song yet. The eighth track on our list is Court in the Streets featuring OFTB, and this track was listed on several early All Eyez on Me tracklist drafts, and eventually Court in the Streets was never recorded, and instead Pac and OFTB end up doing the track The Struggle Continues. In the breakdown video Euthanasia and All Eyez on Me Leftovers Part 2 that you can find on the channel as well, I go more into detail about that track, so make sure to check it out. Track number 9 on our list is included on a tracklist draft with the song titled 777-9211, and this track was released on All Eyez on Me with the title What's Your Phone Number? And when the tracklist draft appeared, there was some confusion surrounding this title, and some people were wondering if this might be an unreleased track, and that's why it is also covered in this video. What's Your Phone Number was recorded on November the 16th in 1995, and Danny Boy is also featured on it. The beat was produced by Johnny J, and Tupac is also listed as a producer, and a sample of Prince's song 777-9311 was used for the beat. Tupac probably replaced the 3 with a 2 on the handwritten tracklist draft as a reference to his own name. So now you know the story behind the track title 777-9211. Track number 10 on our list is listed on the tracklist draft with the title My Baby's Mama, and there's very little information about this song and it has not been leaked online. It was performed by Tupac featuring the Outlaws, and Johnny J produced the beat, and the instrumental can be found online, but unfortunately without the vocals. Tupac wrote down the lyrics with a ballpoint pen on a notepad, and the track was recorded in November of 1995. According to some theories, this song got destroyed in 2008 at the Universal Studios fire, but I'm not sure if that's really the case. There are also a couple of remakes online where Pac's vocals have been recreated using AI and added to the instrumental, so if you want to get an impression you can search for it on YouTube. And that brings us to the 11th track on the list, and that's the original version of Late Night featuring DJ Quick and AMG. This track was listed on some tracklist drafts, and the beat was produced by DJ Quick, and a sample of the song Wind Parade by Donald Byrd was used for it. There's also another version of this track where the verses of DJ Quick and AMG have been replaced by those of the Outlaws. Another track that is very similar to Late Night is made by Second to None, and the title of this track is Let's Get Higher, and the beat was also produced by DJ Quick in '94 and he used the same sample for the beat. The Second to None album got shelved and the sample was used for Late Night during the All Eyez on Me recording sessions. So if you didn't know that, it's definitely worth listening to the track to hear the similarities. Fun fact is that there's also another unreleased track that goes by the title Till My Dying Day Late Night '95 featuring Tupac and the Outlaws. It has a completely different beat and this track can be found online, but unfortunately not in high quality. It's a dope track and many fans hope that this will be released someday in high quality in the future. The 12th track that we will cover in this video is the original version of Letter to My Unborn Child, and it's listed as To My Unborn on several handwritten tracklist drafts. The beat of the original version was produced by Johnny J, and the track also features Natasha Walker. On this track, Tupac speaks to his unborn child about the rough experiences he had in hopes that the child will understand why he's not around. The song was eventually remixed and released on the posthumous album Until the End of Time in 2001. The posthumous version has a different hook and doesn't have the full outro, and instead of sampling Do It Roger by Roger Troutman, it contains a sample of Michael Jackson's Librarian Girl. The 13th track in today's video that was recorded during the All Eyez on Me studio sessions is Fade Me featuring Castro and Napoleon. On a draft the song is also indicated as Can't Fade Me, and like most of the tracks in this video, the beat was also produced by Johnny J. On the tracklist draft you can also see that Blunt Time was crossed out and replaced by Can't Fade Me. The beat contains a sample of Lady, which is a track by D'Angelo, and there are a couple of versions of Fade Me that can be found online. The 14th track on our list that was recorded during the All Eyez on Me studio sessions is Better Days, and Johnny J produced the beat, and the song was recorded on October the 23rd in 1995 at the Can-Am Studios. There are a few different versions of this track that can be found online. Tupac did the solo version during the All Eyez on Me album sessions on the same day that he recorded the track The Struggle Continues with Big Psych and OFTB, but both tracks were eventually not used for the All Eyez on Me album. The OFTB members really liked Better Days, so Pac gave the song to them for their album in '96. There's also a Johnny J remix of this track with vocals from R&B singer Ron Isley. And that brings us to the 15th track that we will cover in this video, and that is Fair Exchange, and this track also features Tyrone Rice and Capucine Jackson. The song was recorded on November the 13th in 1995 and the beat was produced by Johnny J. I really like this track, and there are different versions and mixdowns that you can find online, so it's definitely worth checking it out if you haven't heard it before. The 16th track on our list is Soon As I Get Home featuring Gaddafi, and this track was produced by QD3 and it was recorded on December the 13th in 1995 during the All Eyez on Me sessions. And this track was later released in its original form on the Pac's Live album that was released in 2006. In an interview, QD3 mentioned that the final version on the Pac's Live album is actually just a rough mix from the session because he never got to finish the song because the master was lost. But even though it's a rough mix, it's still a solid song to listen to. The original version of Still Ballin' featuring Corrupt from the Dog Pound is the 17th track that we will cover in this video. The beat was produced by Johnny J and it was recorded on December the 18th in 1995 at the Can-Am Studios during the All Eyez on Me sessions. And a sample was used from the song Far East Mississippi by the Ohio Players. Tupac's vocals were later used for the remix version on the double album Better Days that was released in 2002. And on that remix, Corrupt was replaced by Trick Daddy. And the beat that was used for this remix is also off the chain. Another track that was recorded during the All Eyez on Me sessions is the original version of What's Next featuring Prince Idol Joe, Natasha Walker, Mopreme and Big Psych. It was recorded on November the 16th in 1995 and Johnny J produced the beat, and a sample was used from the Bootsy Collins song May the Force Be With You. And there's also another version of What's Next with extra adlibs from the female who's singing on the record. Johnny J also did a remix for the song with a completely different beat and you can find it online. Where You Been is the 19th and also the last track on our list of this video, and Big Psych, The Outlaws and Danny Boy are also featured on it. It's a smooth track and it was recorded on November the 6th in 1995 and Johnny J produced the beat, and a sample was used from the Michael Jackson song I Want to Be Where You Are. There are a few different mixdowns of Where You Been that you can find online, and this one is also one of my personal favorites, so if you are not familiar with this track, make sure to check it out. Also let me know in the comments which of these tracks are your personal favorites. Show some love and support by liking this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and don't forget to click on the notification bell to stay updated when a new video is uploaded. And if you have any feedback or additional information, make sure to drop a comment below. And also make sure to check out the follow-up breakdown video titled Euthanasia and All Eyez on Me Leftovers Part 2, which will go more into detail on the early drafts that Tupac had in mind for Euthanasia. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you back again in the next video.